On June 14, 2013, the film Man of Steel was released. Zack Snyder's grounded take on the iconic character of Superman was the first movie in the new DC Extended Universe, or abbreviated as the DCEU by fans. It is the story of Kal-El accepting who he is as a son of the lost planet of Krypton and as a son of Earth. He learns to be a hero that the world needs, yet he has trouble hiding his abilities, which was something his Earth father strongly emphasized when he was a boy. And when an alien threat by the name of General Zod threatens to turn Earth into Krypton so his people can thrive again, Kal-El must embrace his past and abilities to save the world and the people he loves, including a reporter from the Daily Planet named Lois Lane. While receiving mixed reviews from critics for its darker tone, the fans loved it, and the movie was ultimately a success, earning an estimated $668 million at the box office on a budget ranging from $225 to $258 million. This made Warner Bros. Want to continue with the idea of an interconnected DC universe, much like Marvel was, and still has been, successfully doing. In July 2013 at San Diego Comic-Con, Zack Snyder and fellow actor Harry Lennix came up on stage and blew the fans away with this special announcement. Batman v Superman was announced to be the next movie in Zack Snyder's saga. The fans were extremely excited. This was the first time in cinematic history that Batman, the world's greatest detective, and Superman, the planet's greatest protector, would be together on screen in this big of a capacity. After almost 3 years of massive anticipation, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice was released on March 25, 2016. The plot revolves around Superman being viewed as a menace in society after being framed for causing several tragedies all over the world. One of the people who views him as such is Bruce Wayne. He seeks to take Superman down at whatever cost, and along the way, he realizes that there are more people with special abilities than he thinks.
Oh, I don't think you've ever known a woman like me.
Lex Luthor also wants to take Superman down using the rare mineral known as kryptonite and using the people Superman cares for to sway him to his bidding.
And now God bends to my will.
This film was bashed heavily by critics for its tone, pacing, and plot holes, and those plot holes actually ended up being resolved in the extended 3-hour director's cut dubbed the Ultimate Edition. The movie was loved by fans, but some also hated it, mostly because it didn't have the typical upbeat tone that Marvel was using in their movies. While the movie earned an estimated $873.6 million on a $250 to $300 million budget, it was viewed as a box office disappointment for Warner Bros., since they were expecting it to break over $1 billion due to the massive popularity of these iconic superheroes in pop culture. The critical reviews and disappointing box office made the studio want to rethink their strategy with working alongside Zack Snyder. By the time Batman v Superman came out, the script for Justice League was finished, but after Warner Bros. Saw what happened with Batman v Superman, they forced Zack and screenwriter Chris Terrio to rewrite the script to add in several lighthearted jokes and remove certain ideas the director wanted to do that were deemed too scary. So when Justice League was being filmed from April to December of 2016, Zack had to film the more comedic scenes the studio wanted, but he was fortunately able to film most of the scenes he wanted without any studio interference. Zack was always in a constant fight with the studio on which version they should release, his intended version or the more comedic version, and this happened for months on end. Warner Bros. Even wanted to mandate a runtime of 2 hours for Justice League, which Zack initially thought was a joke. Then, a tragedy struck. On March 20th, 2017, Zack's daughter, Autumn, passed away from suicide. He and his whole family were truly devastated, and so were the fans when they heard this news for the first time. Zack tried to continue working on the movie for about 2 more months, but in May, he and his wife Deborah decided to leave the project. That's when this article was published. The article from May 2017 stated that Joss Whedon, director of the first two Avengers films, was personally hired by Zack Snyder to finish Justice League, but over the next few years we would find out that this wasn't the case. The article also stated that Warner Brothers wanted to adhere to Zack's vision as closely as possible while adding a few new scenes by Joss Whedon, but as I'll soon discuss, that was also a lie. Warner Brothers hired Joss Whedon to rewrite most of the movie and to reshoot many scenes, which was unlike what the May 2017 article stated. Why, you may ask? To add tons and tons of comedy to mimic the style Marvel uses for success. After a very rushed post-production process to finish the film, Justice League was finally released on November 17, 2017. Warner Brothers expected huge praise for its lighter tone and added humor, but that's not what happened. Critics and fans alike bashed this movie for being inconsistent to Snyder's previous two films and for being like a Frankenstein film. More specifically, it was described as a mix-mash of Zack's darker tone and Joss's lighter tone. The movie ended up doing horribly in the box office, only making $657.9 million on a $300 million budget, and that budget also included Whedon's reshoots. The studio reportedly lost $60 million, making Justice League a huge failure, especially compared to the studio's expectation of it making $1.5 billion. Fans were very dissatisfied with this version of Justice League. They knew this wasn't Zack's movie. It was the studio's movie, a compromised version of Zack Snyder's epic continuation of the DCEU. They even started calling it Justice League in reference to Joss Whedon's reshoots occupying most of the movie. Passionate fans were confident that Zack Snyder had a completely different movie locked behind closed doors. So they started to call out for it. Only a few days after the theatrical version of Justice League was released, fans started creating petitions and spreading the word on social media that Zack Snyder's cut should be released, initially on Blu-ray and DVD. And when Justice League was released on physical, there was no trace of Snyder's cut anywhere, only 2 deleted scenes that were clearly shot by him. They wanted to get the message out everywhere, on Twitter especially, that Zack has an unfinished cut of the movie that displayed his true vision. But no one knew that it would soon grow to become an actual movement and reach the majority of the DC fanbase. They sent letters to executives at Warner Brothers trying to convince them to release the film. They would set up GoFundMe pages to fly a plane over the Warner Brothers headquarters with a banner that said "Release the Snyder Cut," or make promotional material about it during conventions like Comic-Con, and they were even able to put a digital billboard in Times Square about it. On the 2-year anniversary of the theatrical cut, the movement decided to give their all. They took it to Twitter to make their voices heard, to lead the charge in the fight for Zack Snyder's film. And it got big. Really big. The original plan was to reach 214,000 tweets, but it ended up trending worldwide at number 1 and reached over 1.1 million tweets. Even Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck, among other celebrities, tweeted the hashtag. Heck, even Subway participated in the movement a few weeks later. It was clear that hundreds of thousands of people wanted to see this movie. From the promotional banners to the billboard at Times Square, as well as the Twitter event on November 17th, Warner Brothers saw all of it. And they finally decided to take action. After seeing all the passionate demand for the Snyder Cut, Warner Brothers decided to take action after the successful Twitter trending event. The studio called Zack with an offer, essentially saying, "Let's try this again." A few months later, some executives from Warner Brothers, HBO Max, the upcoming streaming service at the time, and DC were invited to Zack's house to watch his unfinished cut, where Zack proposed several ideas for releasing the movie, including an idea to release it in an episodic format. Seeing as this would provide good content for HBO Max, the project was officially greenlit in February 2020 by Warner Media. What exactly is Warner Media? Think of it this way. Warner Brothers is owned by Warner Media, and Warner Media is owned by AT&T. On May 20th, the director hosted a watch party of Man of Steel and provided his own commentary on the film. After the movie was over, Henry
What's
Cavill
that?
joined.
Who's joining us?
Hey guys, thought I might crash your little watch party.
Then, fans came on to ask questions to Zack, his wife Deborah, and Henry about making Man of Steel and being a part of the DC universe as a whole. And at the very end was the moment that fans of the Snyder Cut movement will remember for years to come.
I have this. I don't know if this is helpful. See that?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my
Wow.
god.
And there it was. It was officially announced that the Snyder Cut, now titled Zack Snyder's Justice League, would be releasing on HBO Max in 2021. After 2.5 years of making their voices heard and dealing with constant backlash, they finally won. A victory at last. Hallelujah. A lot of work had to be done to finish Zack's cut. Most of it was restoring and fixing the CGI and special effects. In total, Zack and his team were given $70 million to complete the movie, and they definitely used it well. There are many great videos out there on the specific comparisons between the theatrical and director's cut of Justice League, so check those out if you want a more detailed analysis on that. And as a final note, here is the official synopsis for Zack's 4-hour and 2-minute superhero epic. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain, Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions. The task proves more difficult than Bruce imagined, as each of the recruits must face the demons of their own past to transcend that which has held them back, allowing them to come together, finally forming an unprecedented league of heroes. Now united, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash may be too late to save the planet from Steppenwolf, Desaad, and Darkseid and their dreadful intentions. Zack Snyder's Justice League was released on HBO Max on March 18, 2021. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. This was very, very fun to do. It was something a little bit different for me. I've never done a video like this, so again, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something out of it, and if you didn't, I hope you at least enjoyed it a little bit. So yeah, that's it, and have a great day.